Hi, everybody. Welcome to Learn It Live with the Baltimore Chamber of Commerce. I am here today with Susan Carberry from the Cake Cottage. Hi, Susan.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Susan, her edible works of art have won numerous awards and have been featured in magazines such as American Cake Decorator and Here Comes the Cake. She has appeared on the Food Network show Top 5 and won first place with her unique three-dimensional cookies. She also competed in TLC's Ultimate Cake Off twice. In season 1, she placed second, and in season 2, she won the competition, taking home a check for $10,000. So again, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited. You are going to show us how to decorate a Halloween-inspired cake, correct?
That is correct. So we are going to do a very simple, anyone can do this at home, a simple pumpkin for Halloween. You can do it with your kids. So to do that, you can choose any size cake you would like. I'm just using 6-inch cakes here that I've already stacked up, and I just have buttercream in between the layers. But you can do a pumpkin any shape, any size. Basically, that's why it's so great to do for Halloween, and anybody can do it, right? You see pumpkins in all different shapes in the stores, so it doesn't matter what it looks like, right?
Anybody can do it. Okay, I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to try this at home and post my nailed it picture.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, these are just 6-inch cakes stacked up. Now, normally this dome right here is what we call the crown of the cake. Most of the time I cut that off when we do cakes, but it's going to add to the shape of the pumpkin, so I left it on there. So what you need is just a sharp knife. So if you're doing it with the kids, then you might want to do this part on your own without the kitties. They can eat the scraps, I guess, while you're waiting. But you want something like a serrated knife, and my cake is cold. You want it to be chilled. And you don't want it just baked right out of the oven. It's actually better if you do it the day before, fill it, refrigerate it, so it's nice and chilled. Does
that make it easier to carve?
Exactly, much easier to carve. If it's just fresh out of the oven and warm, it's just going to fall apart on you.
Yeah.
You can always freeze it too. Once it's, say you did make it this morning, you could freeze it to firm it up before you start carving. So I just kind of around that top edge there. You want to save as much of the cake as possible, right? And then at the base here, I'm just going to take the knife and I'm just going to cut in like this, just to kind of round that a little bit.
You're making this look so easy.
It is easy. I would already have a lopsided workout.
Oh
right,
my goodness.
So you want to go in a little bit more so it does look like it's round down there at the bottom. And sometimes sometimes I might end up icing it and still not like the shape and then go back and cut some more off. It's not a big. Yeah.
So would you have to cool it then after you ice it again? Or how would you do that?
No. I mean, you can. You can either way. It does make it easier if you do, but at that kind of time, right?
So those are the scraps for the kids, huh?
What's that?
Those are the scraps for the kids.
Yeah, those are the scraps that you can use for cake pops, which I don't do, so they just went in the trash here. Or give them to your family.
Yeah.
Okay, at the top, what I'm going to do is just kind of cut out. So I've got my knife in at an angle. And I'm just going to cut a little bit of a circle out. That's where the stem will end up going.
Oh, okay.
See that? Yeah? Okay. All right. And then what we can do is just take some buttercream. So this is just regular old, it's American buttercream. And you always want to just kind of stir it up a little bit. And you can even use the store-bought buttercream for this. You just don't want to use whipped cream because we're going to cover this with fondant. Can you hear that with the door? Okay. You just don't want to use whipped cream and then because we're going to be using rolled fondant over the top. And if you use whipped cream, it has a lot of water in the whipped cream and it'll melt your fondant. Okay,
your buttercream looks really nice and soft.
It is. That is key. And if you feel like your buttercream is too stiff and it's tearing It could either be your cake's not cold enough, or you can thin down your buttercream with actually just using a little bit of water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't.
Pretty easy.
Okay. So you just mix a little bit of water in it?
Yep, just a little bit.
Awesome.
And you'll just spread evenly over your cake. Of course, you can be using a turntable, but I like to do things the hard way. Right?
Why make it easier?
Try to make it so you can see also.
Thank
Right? So you can see I'm doing a fabulous job icing here. Anyone can do this. So far?
So this layer is not focused on the prettiness of that layer.
Sorry, someone just walked in.
It's okay. So we're not focused on having this layer super pretty and even?
No.
Because we're going to have fondant over it?
Because it's a pumpkin and it doesn't matter.
Well, that's good.
And we're not trying to win any awards here.
All right.
It just needs to be simple. I am going to go back and kind of smooth it a little, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And it's good to have always put more icing on than you need. That's the biggest mistake people make on icing any cakes. A small amount of icing on, and they're trying to ice it, and then they get a whole bunch of crumbs in the icing. And then you need to put more on because you're going to end up taking some of it off anyway. And that'll help prevent getting, cake crumbs.
So we should start with more.
More than you need. Yep.
Nice.
Okay, I think we've got that pretty much covered.
Susan, we have a question from Facebook. How many layers is the cake that you have?
This one is 4 layers.
4 of the 6-inch layers?
Most of the time my cakes are 4 1-inch layers of cake. So that means I bake 2 2-inch cakes. So I use cake pans, bake 2 of them, cut each in half, and then fill it. That's how mine are usually built.
Got it.
Okay, now this right here, can you even see it? It's plastic.
Yeah.
Acetate. And you can bend it.
Yeah.
What I do is I just take it and then see from the bottom up, you can just kind of cut and smooth it. So I've got it cupped in my hand, so it's easier than using the spatula.
That's so cool. That's really smart.
Yeah, so I use that for smoothing a lot of cakes, or if I want a regular, round cake, if I want it to have edges around the top of the cake that looks like fondant cream, I'll use this to smooth it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So how many people would you expect this cake to feed?
Oh, this one, it's probably, it could serve like 8.
8?
8, yeah.
Cool, thank you.
But again, you can do it in any size.
Yeah, that's true. So you use the 6-inch.
Yeah, it would be fun to do a whole bunch of different ones and have like the kids have their own pumpkin.
Oh, that would be so cute.
Decorate it. They can do all the different, decorations on it and everything.
Yes, for sure.
Not at my house, of course.
No, we'll just bring them to your store. Do it right there.
So we have changed things here a little bit at the Cake Cottage. We used to sell supplies also, and we actually no longer sell supplies. So cupcakes, and we have a new case behind us. Do cupcakes and custom cakes.
So where would you recommend to get supplies from?
Most people just buy things on Amazon.
Yeah.
Mostly. It's just, that's the way it is, unfortunately. There's not a lot of small, I think I was the only cake shop in Murrieta. There's one down in Temecula. And you can still get some things at Michael's and Joann's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we're going to do, I just kind of have this off to this, I'll put it off to the side. We're going to cut this in rolled fondant. So there's different kinds of rolled fondant out there. I know some people go, rolled fondant, ew, I don't like rolled fondant. Well, there's different brands. I use Satin Ice. It's a well-known brand. Medium priced. Works really well. Comes in a lot of different colors. and very flexible. So that's the one I use. There's even ones out there that have white chocolate in them. So what I'm doing is kneading it up, and I actually am going to need a little bit more than that. So let me show you. When you get it out of the bucket, you can make your own also, but who's got time for that?
I don't.
Yeah. Maybe at the beginning of COVID, people had time for that, but I think everyone's
exactly. When I was doing my sourdough starter.
Yeah. So when it first comes out of the bucket, it has no elasticity to it, so it just pulls apart. I'm actually going to use this little cutter here to take some off.
That looks like a saw.
Yeah.
Straight up saw.
It's a cake cutter.
That's awesome.
A saw. But the nice thing is the fondant doesn't stick to that, the type of plastic that it is. If you use a regular knife, the fondant sticks to the knife, and then it kind of gets hard and crusty if it's sitting on there.
Oh,
so
great.
what you see is then I start to knead it up and giving it elasticity, and that's what you need for it to stretch over the pumpkin. So make the mistake of not kneading it enough, and then it won't have that stretchability to go over the pumpkin. So you can kind of see it starting to stretch, but it's not quite yet. So I'm going to take the bigger piece all together. And this is where you get your workout. Well, the kind of workout I'm getting today.
Hey, that's what I came here for, you know?
Yeah. All right, we might have a customer coming in.
Okay.
That's okay. She's looking at the menu outside. All right, so what I'm going to do here, it's pretty much kneaded up. And what
How
I
do
do
you
is,
know when it's kneaded up?
it doesn't have any more of the lines. There's a lot of lines in it. Yeah. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
So it doesn't have, a lot of the lines in it, and then it stretches instead of pulling apart.
Okay.
You guys don't have any of the peanut butter.
And whenever you leave it, like if I leave this and then go use the phone or something, you want to make sure you cover it up because it does dry out.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is when you come back, you still want to go ahead and knead it again a little bit.
Okay.
Whenever it's sitting there. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is kind of flatten it out a little bit.
Peanut butter one, and then one cookie and drink, please.
Grab a rolling pin. And this is just a little bit of cornstarch. You can use powdered sugar.
This one?
Like powdered sugar in a sifter is actually better than this. Cornstarch will dry it out a little bit more. So if you're new to this, the powdered sugar is better. Okay, and then I'm going to start to roll it out. Welcome, welcome. We're just doing a live Facebook video. Okay, so what you're like, oh, say hi. Yeah. Did you hear what my brother said? Okay, so you wanted this, I keep doing this, you'll see me do this with my hand, and that's because I can feel that it's thinner here and thicker over here.
Got it.
Make sure that I get to rolling over there, and if you actually take your rolling pin and kind of roll this way, it'll help make it more round of a peak. Looks like something got in there. You want to watch for a couple of things. If anything like comes off the rolling pin, goes in there. And then if there's any air bubbles, any little pockets, then you would want to get those out with a little pin. Right now we don't have any, but again, this is a pumpkin and it can have little blemishes. So I always want to make sure I pick it up and I'm able to move it. So I'm going to actually put a little more cornstarch under there.
So it's kind of like when you're rolling out dough, you want to make sure it doesn't get stuck to your table.
Yeah, right. And I don't flip it over. I keep the nice side up.
Okay.
Almost there. You don't want it to be too thin. Okay,
Is
so
there a way to fix it if you accidentally made it too thin? Like if you rolled it out,
you can
have
reheat
startle
it.
over?
If it's too thin,
Yeah.
you can re-knead it, and that's why the powdered sugar is better to use than cornstarch, because the cornstarch dries it out more. So it's
Got
better
it.
just beginning to use the powdered sugar. How do I know it's going to be big enough? You can just take your rolling pin and kind of go like this. Okay, it needs to be a little longer than the rolling pin, so I'm about there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't do the setup.
Some people measure it and all that. Something real easy, simple like that.
That works too.
Okay, then what I'm going to do is take the fondant and just kind of flip it over. Move the cake over to the fondant.
Yeah.
Lift it up. And then over the top. Okay. Start from the top and you want to smooth. How are you today?
We got some business women over there.
Yeah, we're on Facebook Live here. The chamber, Marietta. Okay, so I guess I should have this up. So then what we want to do is just start smoothing down. You want to smooth like halfway down all the way around first before just going all the way down in one spot. So open. See how I'm opening both pieces here and then bringing it down? I don't want to pull on it too much because it'll stretch and tear. Little buttercream there from underneath. So you have to be patient, yet do it quickly also, because if you wait too long, it'll actually start to crack on you.
Buying a cupcake or no? Are you good? Whichever you want.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is start to take some of the excess off.
No, just Nick, would you like vanilla? So
Bring it open, bring it in,
yeah,
trim a little more.
I'm there.
Yeah.
What we're doing?
Pull it out to get rid of the creases and then
Correct.
Smooth over.
Let's see the vanilla.
Almost good. Yeah, just keep opening them and bringing it in. And I think this is the last little spot right here. And the cool thing is, it's a pumpkin, so if you make a mistake, say you have a crease here, I'll just make a crease right there at the end. I can cover that up, so it's not a big. If it was up here, it'd be different. Well, I guess I could put a leaf on it. Then what you want to do is kind of trim around the edge.
Right.
Looks like you have like a miniature pizza wheel or something.
Yeah, it's just a regular pizza cutter. You can use a knife too. You don't have to have a pizza cutter. And just look for any cake crumbs. If there's any cake crumbs, then you want to take that part out, throw it away. If it's just the buttercream there, then you can weave that back in together.
Oh, and then you can use the leftover fondant again.
Correct. Yeah, I usually keep it separate than my original piece, but you can still use that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of buttercream here and place it on this board, just so it will stick.
You just got a little compliment from a viewer, Susan.
Yeah, just vanilla.
Rhonda, she said she loves to laugh.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said you got a little compliment from a viewer.
Thank you.
Rhonda, she says she loves your laugh.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do here now is a pumpkin usually has grooves in it, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so since it's soft, the buttercream's still soft underneath and the fondant's still soft, I just take my fingers and I'll kind of push it at the base and then kind of pull up. Okay, and go all the way around doing the same thing. Can you kind of see how it's getting those creases? I don't know how well that.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah?
You can see
Okay, awesome.
the shadows a little bit.
There we go, all the way around. See, I'm pulling on in the center, and as it pushes up, it's just creating that little groove there at the top. And again, that's where the stem will end up being.
No, she's just doing demonstration for Chamber of Commerce.
All right. Pretty good? Pretty pumpkin-like?
Or baker, she's baking.
All right, and then I want to put it on this board.
It's been good for her.
It's on a board here. I'm just going to keep it on that board because I'm going to put some around it.
And that buttercream is going to help it stick?
Yeah, the buttercream will hold it, especially after it's refrigerated. I always refrigerate after.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then what we can do is we can actually make these grooves stand out just a little bit more. Hey, can you bring me some paper towels, please? Forgot paper towels. So these are dusting powders. So a lot of times I'll use an airbrush, but people don't have airbrushes at home. You know, most don't anyway. You may. Do you have an airbrush?
I do actually.
See? I knew it.
But it's for makeup, not for cakes. So I
is it? Yeah, you don't want to use that one. Okay, no.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, no, not so good. Okay,
Yeah.
so these are pretty inexpensive. They're usually like $4 each, where airbrush is, 100 and something dollars.
Yeah.
So anyone can kind of get these, and then you just want to use a dry brush, not a makeup brush. Not one that you used on paint either.
Thank you for making that distinction.
Yeah, I know. So we just want to take the brush, and then in these little grooves, it's going to take a darker color, because in the grooves, that's where it would be a little darker usually. And it's just going to help these stand out more.
Is that glittery or is it just color?
No, this one's just color. This one's a matte color.
Okay.
You can do a more glittery one. So there's a difference. There's some of these are called petal dust, and some are called luster dust. So a petal dust is matte dusting powder. Okay, more like makeup and stuff. And then the luster dust have a sheen to them.
Okay.
You do want it to have more of a sheen. And then there's some like edible glitters and things that they have out now also. Okay, but that just kind of makes those stand out a little more. Can you see that there on the?
Yeah, you
That
can
show up?
definitely see that.
Oh, that's pretty good then if it's showing up on there. Okay, so I won't worry too much about the back. We'll just kind of get the front going there.
Okay.
Just move this off to the side. Okay, so now we need a stem. So Halloween pumpkin, we can do kind of any color we want. What I'm going to do is kind of show you how you can just use white and then color it. So a lot of people don't want to go out and buy a whole bunch of different colors of the fondant. You can use a lot of the white and then use, the colorings
Okay.
used. So we'll do kind of a green stem. So I'm just pulling off some white fondant.
So then you could get just white and then color some orange and then use just the white.
Yeah. So there's different ways. You could get the white and you could put orange food color in here to cover it. Or you can do white paint, white, and then like for the stem, I'm going to paint it.
Okay.
Just kneading this up. And then I'm just going to kind of roll it into cord. My hand's at an angle when I'm rolling though, because I want it to be thinner at one end and a little bit thicker at the other end. It's a stem, so you don't want it to be perfect, or that's what I'm saying. Okay, this is just a little knife tool, but you can use anything you have at home. You can even use a toothpick. And I'm just going to kind of draw some little lines and creases in it. Take the other end and maybe just kind of rough up this top area. Okay, and that's going to go up here. Now, this isn't just going to stand there by itself.
Okay.
Because it's tall. So what I'll do is I'll just take a skewer, pop that in, and then pop this over the skewer.
Oh, that looks so easy when you do it.
You can do one like this, or if you want one that's more curly, you can do one that's more curly, whatever type you want to do. Then I'm going to go ahead and take some green, and this time I'm going to use, it's still going to be a petal dust, but I'm going to add some liquid to it. And that is going to make more of a paint.
Oh.
Aha.
So you can actually like create your ink colors with the dust.
Yeah. Hi.
I'm Katie, and I'm supposed to drop off flowers.
Oh, perfect. My brother will be right there. I'm Susan, so I'm the one that
hi,
you're
it's nice to meet you.
You too. We're doing a live Facebook video.
Oh,
No, don't
I'm so
worry.
sorry. Oh,
Hi.
She's getting married. Those are great. Those will be
yeah,
perfect.
perfect. I didn't know
Beautiful.
how long.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'll just cut them down and everything like
Awesome.
that for you.
Okay. And I believe my future brother-in-law, Johnny.
Wow, pretty flowers.
Okay. I'll confirm with you through email on the time and everything.
Perfect. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Another happy bride. See, people are still getting married. Hi, come on in. We're doing a video.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this piece here, he can help you.
Quick, yeah. Just one
See, I told you it'd be fun.
Yeah.
So what I'm using here is
And I need a bigger.
Everclear, which you can't really get in California. So it's just higher alcohol content.
Okay.
So it dries faster. But you can use water to do the same thing. It just takes longer to dry, or you can use like a gin or a vodka, clear alcohol, to make a paint, and that'll dry faster than water will. Okay.
So the reason you use alcohol is for it to dry faster.
To dry faster, yeah. So you can do, multiple different colors and blending and things like that easier when it dries faster.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you're home, it doesn't really matter. If you're just doing something quick with the kids, it doesn't matter. It's more of a
That
cake
makes sense.
thing. So one for me, one for there, one for you. Yeah, it evaporates really fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I have
It's potent.
2 different greens.
Okay.
I probably use a bigger brush than this. That'll take up forever. Okay. And just kind of hold on to it and see how you can just kind of paint. You can do green stem, you can do brown, whatever you want.
Hmm.
It's kind of cool, so you don't have to, and it's more of a watercolor look.
It is. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. Watercoloring on cakes right now is really big.
Yeah.
We have a few that we've done on our Instagram page, wedding
Oh,
ones.
really? I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah,
They're so pretty.
yeah, it is really neat. Okay.
We're gonna have to do another like class for watercolor.
Oh yeah, I mean, really, yeah, it helps in the cake decorating. That's for sure. Okay, so something like that, you can go back over it. You can add a little brown to it. Whatever you want to do. Just get creative.
Yeah.
Add, how about we'll just use some chocolate fondant and do some vines coming down. Some leaves, get a face on there. So chocolate fondant it's pretty dark. So what I do, and let me show you how dark it is when see this really dark piece?
Oh, wow.
Satinized. So I usually will lighten some of it with just white fondant. Just mix them together.
Okay.
It'll lighten them.
So does the chocolate fondant, this may be a silly question. Does the chocolate fondant actually taste like chocolate? Or
It does.
is
It tastes kind of like a Tootsie Roll.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it does. All the other colors, the orange, the white, they all just have vanilla flavor. But the chocolate actually does have it's like chocolate flavor.
I could get on board with that then.
Chocolate pumpkins all around. Okay, so I'm
Yes.
just kind of rolling this into a cord.
Okay.
And then I'll just kind of pop it here. You can just kind of do a little bit of a vine kind of coming down.
Oh, cute.
And to make it stick, I'm going to have to use just a tiny bit of water. So it's sticking here because I just painted that.
Uh-huh.
Just putting a little bit of water in a cup here. And I'll use the same brush. So if I want it to stick here, I just pop a little bit of water there. And sometimes you'll just have to hold it for, 30, 40 minutes. You have that much time, right?
30, 40 minutes? Yeah, no problem.
Just kidding. You're like, yeah. There we go. So see, it sticks pretty quickly.
That's cool.
So
I would have never thought of that.
The water, because water,
You have to use water.
it actually melts. Basically, it'll melt the fondant to so it acts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just kind of do one over here.
But then it doesn't leave marks or anything?
It will. That's why I have to put the vine right where I put the water.
So you would have to put it right over it.
Right.
So don't pour water on it is what you're saying.
No. If it's raining and I go outside with the cake, the water drops will make little divots in the fondant.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Hi, come in. We'll be right with you over there. All right. So then we need a couple of leaves. So a lot of times I like to start with yellow for leaves, fall leaves.
Mm.
Because fall leaves usually have the yellows, oranges, some browns, maybe rusty
Yes,
kind of
absolutely.
color. So if you start with yellow, that's one color you don't have to add.
And then would you just
This
paint
is
the rest?
cornstarch. Yeah, we're gonna actually dry dust the rest.
Oh,
Okay, so you
that'll
want
be
it fairly thin, thinner than what you did for the cake. Make sure that you can slide it on the table.
okay.
Get that out of the way. Use some little cutters, little cookie cutters work. And just cut. When you cut, make sure you push down and kind of wiggle it to get a nice clean cut. Okay, and then you have some little leaves here. And then just use anything. So let me show you. You can use like a skewer or a toothpick. I usually use my little tools, but you can vein these by just taking a toothpick. Can you see that on there?
I can't see it, but you're doing the veins in the leaves, huh?
Correct.
Yeah.
Just kind of take it and you can drag it. Okay, now I usually like to use this because it doesn't cut it as easily. It's a little bit softer on the fondant.
And then you have that dimension in the leaves.
Yeah.
Very cool.
See that? Then I'll put it on the paper towel so I don't mess up everything. And now this is where I've got one of the luster dusts. And I'll still use this orange kind of color. So this time I'm going to do dry. So I'll take maybe more of the orangey color. That's a word, right? Orangey?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I believe it was approved by Webster's.
And then I'll take some of this, it's called Rouge Flambe. It's more of a rust kind of a color. And I'll just kind of use some leaves here. And you know, this is kind of a little bit more fallish. You can, keep it in the darker colors for Halloween one. Whatever you want to do, really. Okay, so if I want to put something like that on there. So I'll take
that's so
a little bit
cute.
of water. And you can do some green leaves also, or some that have a little bit of green on them.
Yeah.
The other fall colors and things like that.
Maybe you could even use some of that leftover paint from the stem to
definitely
do that.
Yep. And it doesn't even have to be, if you have dry food colors, because there are food colors out there that are a powder, like colors, you can use those too. It doesn't have to be a petal dust or a luster dust.
What about like the gel colors that you would use to color like buttercream and stuff like that? Could you use that as
You can use
paint?
those. They don't work as well for like green colors and things. You don't have as much like variation of color in those, but you can. Yeah.
Okay.
Any of that will work. All right. Let me
In a pinch.
Let me put some of this, and we can put a face on them in a second. But this is just some green buttercream. So this is why it didn't really matter down at below what that base looks like, because it's not how you put up, it's how you cover up. Okay? Words
There
to
you
live
go.
by. Right? Not that I ever mess up.
No.
But yeah. It's a cake. Hello, how are you?
Good. Pick up for Ashley?
Okay. He'll get that for you. We're just doing a live video here.
Oh.
That's okay.
Hi, welcome.
Come on in. Join the party. All righty. So see, now you can't see that base, right?
So cute.
All right.
And that's just buttercream as well?
That's just buttercream. Then you can always take some other fun things, like these are just Oreo crumbs over here. Just kind of take some
little
of
dirt.
those. Yeah.
Ashley, for Daniel.
That is
There we
so cool.
Okay, and you can put a face on it if you want. Or you can just kind of leave it. I think I'll just leave it. I think you guys
Yeah.
get the gist. So yeah, pretty easy. So that's all you have to do.
So easy. I'm
Any questions?
totally. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty, and I'm just gonna say you make it look easy. You
Oh, it is easy.
totally make it
You know,
look
I
easy.
can do it. All right.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not holding you to that. When I send you that nailed it picture.
Oh yeah.
No, this is
That's
great.
funny. Yeah.
So how would you even start cutting a cake like that? Would you start in the
cutting it?
middle, or like I don't
I mean, you could just
you
kind of
cut it
start back
straight in
here.
half? Oh, you're gonna cut it? Oh my goodness.
Why not? So this doesn't, it just has buttercream inside. I didn't really do any filling
Uh-huh.
buttercream. But yeah,
Oh, that's so cool.
there we go.
Wow.
And you can either, cut that in two for 2 pieces or,
Yeah.
how much cake you want. All right.
That is so cool. I am so impressed with you. It seems like you're staying pretty busy with all your customers coming in.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Okay.
No, I just said it seems like you're staying busy and your business is thriving.
Yeah, we're so busy. The first couple of months of the whole thing, we were, it was a little tough, with a lot of the weddings and parties canceled, a lot of refunds. It was first 2 months were tough, but ever since that, we have been so busy, so blessed. Busiest,
wonderful.
like Easter ever, busiest Mother's Day ever.
Really?
Weddings are coming back. Staying very, very busy. So
That's good.
very
And
thankful.
and you do some classes as well, right?
We don't anymore.
Oh, okay.
We're too busy for classes now.
That's a good problem to have.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to impart, some wisdom that you want to share before we call it a day?
No, I think we're good. Yeah, she said
Yeah.
go along, and I've got to get back to work.
Yeah, it looks like it. You're sorely needed back there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you again so much for being here with us today. And I am definitely going to try making a pumpkin cake. Maybe I'll send you a picture depending on how it goes.
There you go. There you go.
And if any of our viewers try it, I would encourage you to share the pictures with us. We would love to see them.
Yeah.
And definitely go visit the Cake Cottage over off of Los Alamos. And we will see you soon, Susan.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Hey.
You already know the first one.